So spend a moment feeling your body, aligning it. You can move your body a bit so that when you let the body become still, you can comfortably sit as long as possible without moving. And simply let all the tensions from the tissues of the physical body release. Becoming aware of the physical body, releasing. Becoming aware, releasing, like this. Eyes open or eyes closed, doesn't matter. If you feel like taking few deep breaths, feel free to do that. Relax your shoulders and chest so that the breathing settles to the belly and lower belly. Relax the muscles in the solar plexus area and also the belly in general, lower belly. Relax the muscles in the sides of the body and also lower back. So there's quite a lot of things happening here at the same time. There is the breathing, the settling of breathing, other kinds of things happening with the breathing itself. There is the general relaxing of the body and all those sensations and things that happen with the relaxation. You can feel it in different ways, like pulsating, throbbing sensations, sensations of flow of some kind. And so on. Also, there is mind that thinks in thoughts. They can be emotional flavors of different types. Positive emotion, negative emotion, neutral emotion. There can, of course, be some aches, pains. If you happen to have cough or flu or something like this, or cold, that can also be there. So we can have a lot of things happening at the same time. Yet, it's a figure of speech, but in the midst of all this, there is knowing awareness. There is the ability, effortless ability, to become aware, to be aware, simple knowing in the midst of all these things. Knowing that doesn't require effort at all, is not a special kind of knowing, simply clarity of mind or clarity of awareness, groundedness. And simple life positive aliveness. So when this knowingness is recognized, that is called knowledge, or rikpa in Tibetan. When it goes unrecognized, that is the cause of existential confusion or suffering. It is that simple. So when this basic awareness, knowing awareness, rikpa, is recognized, then our samsaric condition meets with a very different situation. The samsaric spinning of the mind stops spinning in the same fashion like it has before. For example, when we now feel the body and feel the relaxation of the body, there is knowing of feeling of the body. There is knowing of relaxation. When we feel the breath, are attentive of the breath, there is knowing of the breath. Like I listed a few minutes ago, all the things that can be happening here in our body-mind, at the root of any of those things, actions, there is this basic knowing. So as you um, are established in that effortless knowing, Rigpa, relaxing the body in that knowing, in that simple, intimate presence without distance. And like I said, it doesn't matter whether the eyes are closed or open. If you are more used either option, you can also try the other one. I mean that if you usually sit eyes closed, you can sit eyes open, check how it feels. Or if you are mostly used to sitting eyes open, then you can try sitting eyes closed and see how that feels. Very deep, thorough relaxation. Yogis and yoginis have soft bodies because of this constant practice of yoga and meditation. The tissues become relaxed, soft, yet not limp or loose. Mouth can be gently closed or slightly opened, however you like. And when I mean slightly opened, it means the teeth apart a little bit and also the lips a little bit apart. However, breathing through the nose. What is really useful to know is that when we relax the jaws, especially here in the back of the jaws, these parts here, it silences the mind or releases the inner chatter, inner chatting. So you can also test that, mouth closed or mouth open. something that is emphasized and discussed by masters of Dzogchen meditation in the past is that it is said that content in the mind, thoughts, emotions, things, that they have a, how do you say, like an ability to release or liberate naturally. So what does this mean? Let's give it a thought for a moment. So in the samsaric mind, when the thought comes up, the subject, the I, identifies with the thought, and one already in a split second has a thought reaction. Speaks it aloud, has emotional reaction, is impulsive like this, from one thought to another thought, to third thought, and so forth. But the situation is different when we recognize this basic knowing, basic awareness. And then when the same functioning of the mind happens, thoughts, memories, ideas, they just appear and disappear in this basic space. And what is really, really, really important, the reason why I started mentioning this is that if we start picking and choosing from one thought or one emotional state or the other, then we end up in trouble. Then we are already in self-based mode. Like for example, when something unpleasant, like an unpleasant thought or uncomfortable memory comes up, then if there happens the reaction that we want to stay away from it, we don't want it to be there, we don't wish to be associated with that thought, whatever the content is, then it's already split in two. So this idea that thoughts liberate themselves, we need to let all these, like I always say, that let energies flow freely. This is what I mean. Whether it's something that we see as positive or negative, positive thoughts, negative thoughts, something painful or something very comfortable, we allow it to flow. No picking and choosing. Simply that basic awareness, basic knowing. And this basic knowing doesn't pick and choose. It is our self-based mind that has preferences that does that. So the sooner you understand this in practice, the faster the practice of vipassana or laktong in Tibetan becomes. And this is, of course, something like letting energies flow freely, letting even strong negative emotional states like anxiousness or fear, such as panic attack. let your body, give your body to it. Not taking a stand, not using a coping strategy, but complete surrender. In a similar vein, often Rigpa or the sky is used as an analogy of Rigpa, like a spacious, clear sky. And in a sense, in one way, it's a good analogy. But at the same time, the thing is that, like Longchenpa, he uses the phrase basic space of phenomena, basic space of all phenomena. So this space is not separate from things. It's not separate from thoughts, emotions, ideas, memories in the mind, nor is it separate from the things, life forms in the physical world. It's one and the same thing. So if we have the idea that, okay, now I recognize this sky-like spaciousness and then don't have anything to do with thoughts, emotions, forms of any kind, then it's incorrect. It's not a suitable understanding. So as you know, in our style of practice, we always prioritize the recognition of basic knowing first. And from there, from that knowing, we start looking, becoming aware of what is going on in the body-mind. Becoming aware of that flow. So that we can see that the basic knowing, this Rigpa knowing quality, is also there in things and objects, in the things that move and appear in the mind. Appear and disappear. And another thing that is very, very important, that was a little bit about vipassana, lakton, emptiness. Another thing that is very, very important is that this basic knowing, just like our body itself and mind itself, it's alive. Just like if we have a flower in a, in a vase, in the room where you're at. I see that there's a plant behind Carl. Just like house plants or plants, trees, vegetation in nature, we are alive. Alive, brimming with life. And from recognition of this aliveness, basic aliveness, it is quite easy to make the connection to bodhichitta. Bodhichitta, which means literally mind of enlightenment, which refers to the mind of enlightenment that all beings have. Buddha nature of all beings. So we have in the physical space around us, in the physical world, we have people, human beings, plants that are alive. We have what? 7-8 billion people. So feel into the space around you that is, how to say, inhabited by other beings, and feel the aliveness in those beings. Also in mind realms, subtle realms, non-physical realms, there are even more beings. Everywhere around us. Just like in our own mind, we have beings in the forms of thoughts, emotions. In a similar way, many, numerous beings in the subtle realms. Our short bodhichitta prayer is, may all beings be free. And when we chant this simple prayer, express this compassion to all sentient beings, we need to wish it in a way that we mean it, so that we mean what we say. So silently in your mind, say this prayer, may all beings be free, few times, wishing it to all those beings around us. Then simply perceive what happens with this expression of compassion. There is nothing secret in this prayer, in this Mahayana motivation. I'm just saying to recognize what happens when taking that motivation. May all beings in all realms attain perfect enlightenment. May all beings in all realms be free. Notice what happens in your body, in your heart, in your mind. You can also see what if something happens in that basic knowing. What happens in your energy body, in your aura? So if we do that with seriousness, which means if we put some energy into this prayer that expresses our motivation, it opens up the mind, opens up the energy body completely. And because it does so, this is why already Mahayana Buddhism has the potential to take us into full Buddhahood, because it opens the whole energy body. Then we are all sitting here together. May each of us in our subtle bodies be connected to the centers below the body, all the way to the Mahasiddha Bhumis below the body. You've done this a lot of times in your home practice. What happens or doesn't happen to the basic knowing when connecting the pillar below? What happens in the energy body? I would recommend keeping your eyes closed for this one, because I see that if those who are having eyes open are not connecting with the sensations. And then in the subtle body of each of us, may the pillar above the body, all the way up to the highest bhumi, be connected with the body mind. And again, you can check whether the connecting of the above pillar has effect on basic knowing. Does it have any effect on that? Or what effect does it have on aliveness or groundedness? May the original energy body without karmas, without kleshas, without karmic files or habits, habitual patterns, may the original energy body of ourselves as Buddhas, Mahasiddhas, be revealed to us. Relaxing the body into it, surrendering into it. If you become warm, it's good. Let the warmth stay. So quite a deep sensation in the body because of connecting the pillars properly. At the same time, we can be completely effortlessly aware of it. We don't pass out, nor we go into some trance state or jhana state, like absorption. Even though our whole being, our whole body mind, in it you can feel this strong sensation. And then I would like to ask a blessing from Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal to each of us, so that each of us may attain perfect Buddhahood in this life as soon as possible, for the benefit of all sentient beings. Namo Guru Rinpoche, Namo Yeshe Tsogyal. And here again, when the blessing of the masters come, does it have any effect on the basic knowing? Where is the effect exactly? What is the effect of a blessing exactly? Relax the body. Feel the body. If you feel like taking a few deep breaths, go ahead. Let's take a 5-minute break and then continue.